Welcome to Mr. Deserto's open house movie. I will be playing this during the actual open house, but I will also leave it up on my wiki page so that you can review it anytime you need to, or if you miss the open house night, you can still get pretty much everything that went on so you're not missing out. First, a little bit about me, very quickly. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree from SUNY Brockport in history. I got hired back in 1989. Currently teach 7th and 8th grade. The grading standards are created by the department. Tests are the absolute biggest single category of a student's grade. It's 40%. Because the tests are the biggest part of the grade, they need to do well. They have to study for tests. And this is something in middle school where maybe in the past students have been able to do pretty well on tests and not study for them. Middle school is about the time where that starts to change. Some students who struggle in social studies will need to study maybe more than other students who don't already struggle in social studies, but studying for tests is important. I always advertise the test at least a week prior. It is written on the board, it's in their agenda, it's on the homework website. There is no such thing as a surprise unit test. If a student doesn't do well on a test, they score a 65 or below, they can do a makeup. The process for that. Students initiate the makeup process. I have extra tests in the classroom. So it's the students initiate the process. I give them the opportunity to make a good decision. Students can when they do the makeup, they retake the entire test. I know in some other classes, and other teachers have different policies where they didn't do well on question number 6 and 8 and 15, and then those are the only questions that they do. Those teachers are super awesome at math and good at that. I can't. I just give them the whole test over again, and I average the two tests together. If a student does do a makeup and they do worse the second time, I don't average the test because that would make their average grade go down. But I also tell them that you don't get to do a third makeup. Students should study before doing the makeup because, again, like I mentioned, you only get that one shot at a makeup test. I would prefer that students didn't even attempt to do a makeup until they got the original test back. They can see what they did right, they can see what they did wrong, they can study what they did wrong, they can reinforce what they did right. I'm a historian, let's learn from the past. So I'm always available to help students study or restudy for a test. We can go over the answers, why this one was wrong, why this is right, and any strategies that might be helpful. We can do that before school, after school, during flex, during any available time that I have. They might have a study hall. Plenty of opportunities. I will never say no, I'm not going to help a student for any of these things. But again, student initiated process. They need to come in there and do that. Makeup tests are done on a first come, first served basis. Student work. Student work is 30%. It's the second largest chunk of a student's grade for a quarter. This is kind of a junk drawer situation of if it's not a homework, it's not a quiz, it's not a test, then it's in student work. Always going to be these two assignments every quarter. The binder and spiral, and also the current events. Binder and spiral, I grade. I advertise this like a unit test at least a week ahead of time, if not longer. Same thing with the current events project, and there will be a separate movie clip about the current events project and things like that, so because it's a lot more involved than we have time for right now. Generally, I will give the assignment, the current events project assignment, and what they need to do in the very beginning of a quarter, and it's not due until the very end of a quarter. So they will have somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 weeks to get something done that usually students in the past have gotten done in 2 or 3 hours. There is a very negative impact on the grade if these assignments are not done. They come at the end of each quarter. The reason I do that is so that you have as much time to get them done as possible. There's the negative part of that. There is not any cushion on the back end. If there's nothing stopping you from getting it done early, but there's no real Quizzes. I give quizzes periodically. I know there's some classes and people and some teachers are just way more organized. Every Friday they have a test, or I'm sorry, a quiz, or every Tuesday or something. I'm not like that. Sometimes you'll go for a week or two without any quizzes. There might be a unit that every day they have a lesson that they have to do for homework, and to test to make sure that they did the lesson, hold them accountable, there's going to be a quiz in that next class. So there might be 5 quizzes in a row when they walk in the door for 5 class days in a row. So like I said, they're given periodically. Same procedure as with unit tests. If a student does poorly on a quiz, 65 or below, they can do makeups. Next, homework. I give that also periodically. There's not homework every single day, so keep your eye on the homework website. Homework is generally due in the next class period. If it's a homework assignment is not handed in for any reason, especially in 7th grade, and I have them sign the clipboard. It's basically a running list for me. These are the people who I have to kind of pay attention to who owe me an assignment for whatever reason. Maybe they just didn't feel like getting it done. Those kinds, for those people, when it's an unexcused kind of thing, I'm looking for not just their name, but also a phone number, and I will call. And it's not a bad phone call. I try to, make these phone calls before the end of whatever day it was that assignment was due. Homework, unexcused missing homework. I've made your phone call and stuff like that. Every day that it's late, 10 points off until it's below a 65. So you got a couple of days. After it gets to be homework assignment gets to be below a 65, I just give it a 0 and move on. Being prepared for class. As I mentioned previously, this, in my 26 years of middle school, this is the real key to success. Students that struggle generally struggle because they are not organized. So that's why I focus on the organization. I really kind of am maybe a little bit strict about it, because I know that this is actually a skill that's not only going to help them in middle school, it's going to help them in high school, and it's going to help them in real life. Here's the things that the students need every day, and you need something to write with. They need their social studies binder. They need their social studies notebook with them every day. These two things go together. It's also their school agenda. I check the students' agenda at the door when they leave class almost every day, especially again in 7th grade. The homework website. The homework website. Honestly, the homework website, I believe, is far and away more important, much more important than looking up grades on Infinite Campus. And here's my reason why. The homework website is going to tell you and your student what they have to do for the future. So that you can be prepared for these assignments in the future. So you're studying for the test, you get the homework assignment done, you're doing what you need to do for the future. Infinite Campus tells you about the past. How did they do on that test? How did they do on that homework? I'm not saying that Infinite Campus is not important. It is. But if you want to see good grades on Infinite Campus, check out the homework website, because that's how you're going to make sure that you got the assignment, you got it done, you studied for the test, you knew about the quiz, so that when you're looking at your grades on these things, they are good. Okay? Now, the homework website is a fairly involved topic. I will go over that in a separate movie about that. So, Social Studies Wiki page. This is my personal website. It is a fairly important part of my class, which is also why I'm going to make an additional movie for that, an extra movie. Current Events Wiki page. This is the one where the students will be putting their current events project on there. And again, it is a much bigger topic than what we have time for right now. So I'm going to make an additional movie for that, and then I will put that movie on the wiki page. Lastly, you can contact me at jdeserto.spencerportschools.org. Thank you very much.